Governor Ayade assents to 2022 appropriation law of 354.5 billion naira as President Buhari signs into law 17.127 trillion naira budget for Nigeria. Nigerians in Cross River State's peak of 2022 expect a better year. Plus, Nigerians in Calabar comment on impact of COVID-19 on the economy, project a better 2022. Details and more in just a moment. Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Justina Ethan. Nigerians in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, have expressed optimism that the year 2022 will be a better year for the states and the nation. The people stated this in a vox pop while revealing their plans and expectations for the coming year. Udwak Etam tells us more.
There is no doubt that the year 2021 has been challenging for so many Nigerians, even as a nation economically and otherwise. High cost of foodstuff and other commodities, some Nigerians noted that this has created negative impact on the common man.
I wouldn't say it was a very good year for me, but we were able to survive. I believe that 2022, from the look of things, is going to be a very good year.
I've benefited a lot from the year, but although people are complaining about the year, but on my own side, it's going well. What I wish for next year, that next year should be better than this 2021.
No matter everything is hard, but I thank God for the life. The 2022 will be very, very okay.
Despite COVID-19, insecurity and other challenges experienced in 2021, Nigerians are hopeful that the year 2022 will be better.
We entered the year just coming out from a position that we thought we are coming out of COVID. And as we left 2020, we were feeling a little comfortable thinking that we've come out of COVID. And so we came into the year with all amounts of hope. Well, during the COVID pandemic, a lot of things happened in the health sector.
It is the wish of the people that the economy will change for better in the upcoming year. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
The emergence of COVID-19 3 years ago affected the socio-economic life of the people, truncated implementation of government programs and projects nationwide. Respondents who spoke with NTA News crew say this impact spans across major areas like the economy, education, health, and social life, of which Nigerians are still battling to contend with, while hoping that the situation will normalize next year. Maureen Leo Ajom has the details.
Nigeria was among the first countries in sub-Saharan Africa to identify COVID-19 cases and has since implemented strict protocols and guidelines to check the spread of the pandemic. Nevertheless, many of the primary effects of COVID-19 crisis in Nigeria have largely been on the nation's economy, and Cross River State inclusive, as respondent testifies.
In time past, by this time of the year, the end of the year like this, everywhere on the road, hotels and bar, you have to decorate it, paint it, and make it clean.
Medical workers who have been in the forefront of assisting government to check the spread of this virus have their story to tell on its impact.
But I see a federal establishment in this state I will rate it as improved, much better than it was in 2019 and early parts of 2020. And the staff there had been more steady working than they were before. A lot of our young doctors, even senior doctors, who have thought that they would not go out again, they are ready to retire and provide services within, have eventually opted to go out of the country. They work in other countries. That means that the condition had been deteriorating, and 2021 had seen the highest number of doctors exiting out of the country.
As the year 2022 comes, the respondents are optimistic that Nigerians and the nation will weather the storm to forge ahead.
Pray to God that, good governance will come in.
We must fight sincerity of purpose. And I know very well that greatness has nothing to do with age, size, or height, but it has a lot to do with attitude. We must redefine our attitude. Let Nigeria speak first before us.
The respondent, however, appealed to people to align and support government policies and programs for a better and economically strong Nigeria. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
And now on health, Cross River State has recorded 9 cases out of the 1,139 new cases of COVID-19 infections recorded in the country as of Thursday, the 29th of December 2021. Figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control indicate that Rivers State recorded 420 cases, Lagos 324, Oyo 81, Gombe 47, Kaduna 36, and Niger 36. Other states are Federal Capital Territory 29, Delta 18 cases, Kebbi 8, while Enugu and Jigawa recorded 1 case each. This brings the total number of confirmed cases recorded in the country so far to 241,513. Despite the challenging nature of the aviation industry in 2021, Nigeria was able to make a mark by breaking the jinx of stagnation occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. While a lot of airlines were shutting down, favorable policies to attract new entrants as well as acquisition of brand new aircraft in the face of global uncertainty of the industry were put in place. Fasten your seatbelts as aviation correspondent Emmanuel Ayemiro takes you on Flight 2021.
Losses, shutting down of the airwaves and poor recovery characterized the aviation industry worldwide in 2021 due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the uncertainty in the industry, Nigeria woke up to a new dawn of progress from the beginning of the year by encouraging more investment in the industry, with the Central Bank of Nigeria and other financial institutions facilitating the acquisition of brand new cargo airline, with the Allied Cargo increasing her fleets.
The Nigerian aviation industry is opening up. More and more investments are happening. We need more and more investments in the area of aviation, and I can assure us that the Central Bank of Nigeria is ready. Nigerian banks are ready.
This new development was also followed by Air Peace acquiring more fleets, 5 out of 13 delivered so far.
We have been told by the MD of the airline that not less than 8,000 people will be gainfully employed. This is a major achievement.
2 years ago, the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO recognized Nigeria in solving aviation security and oversight deficiencies, sustaining the rating and maintaining safety and security in the nation's airports. An approval of 9.5 billion naira was secured for the procurement of 8 airport rescue and firefighting vehicles, as well as 658 million naira for deployment of sniffer dogs.
Now these dogs, they will be doing, among other things, detection of bomb, detection of drugs, currency, prohibited items, explosives.
One reform that appeared controversial in the year under review is the planned concession of 4 international airports for optimum performance.
Concessioning of our airport is very necessary now. That is the global practice. Government has very little or no business in airport management.
Year 2022 is set for Nigeria's dream of floating a national air carrier, as hinted by Aviation Minister.
There is no control whatsoever management of the airline by the government. They only own 5%. To have a government skin in that project to boost investor confidence and to be sure that this is here to stay, and also to have that sovereign color and sovereign support and sovereign shoulder to lean upon, and also to fulfill the requirements of international operations. The aircraft will be wet leased and operations will begin.
The year also witnessed installations of new processes.
The Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayade, has signed into law the 2022 appropriation bill titled Budget of Conjugated Agglutination. The bill passed into law is an increment of over 78 billion naira from 276 billion to 354 billion naira to accommodate for gaps and other areas not captured in some ministries submitted by the executive. Correspondent Paul Abel reports that the budget is geared towards completing all outstanding projects in the states.
Governor Ben Ayade presented the 2022 budget of 276.2 billion naira on the floor of the Cross River State House of Assembly on the 29th of October 2021. 2 months later, the State House of Assembly has passed the bill into law with 63% of the 354 billion 505 million naira for capital expenditure and 37% for recurrent expenditure, needing the assent of the state governor. Governor Ayade commends the painstaking efforts of the Speaker and other House members, describing the budget as driven by intellectual pathway of the state.
I'm happy to announce to you that the government and people of Cross River State have signed into law the 2022 appropriation law, that our legislator is really alive to our responsibilities. And I want to thank you so much for discovering some of the loopholes that came from the executive. We must quickly add that whatever the executive submits, it just estimates. The power of appropriation lies with the House of Assembly. The oversight function of the House of Assembly derives its power from the appropriation law. And the appropriation law is the sole responsibility of the House of Assembly. Therefore, its implementation, execution, and oversight, including auditing and penalty, lies squarely with the House of Assembly. And we recognize its power.
The governor also revealed that the state will set up and run a professional shipping line, commence work at the Bakassi Deep Sea Port, put the state-owned industries into the market, shelve privatization for the next governor, while a take-off ground will be provided for a management team to run the industries. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 17.127 trillion naira budget of economic growth and sustainability for the 2022 fiscal year has been formally signed into law. Also assented to is the 2021 Finance Bill, which is critical to the successful implementation of the budgetary provisions. President Muhammadu Buhari, who signed the documents, promised to improve the general living conditions of Nigerians, as well as implement measures to moderate the unintended negative effects of his administration policies on them. You're still watching the news reaching you live from the studio of Nta Calabar. Join us again for more reports after this time out. Welcome back to the rest of the news. Markets in Calabar witnessed the usual hustle and bustle associated with festivities as the residents engage in last-minute shopping for the New Year celebration. Morilio Ajom, who visited the popular Wat market in Calabar, reports that consumers continued to decry hike in the price of commodities.
Despite the dull mood of the city of Calabar as a result of the suspension of this year's Carnival Calabar, the popular Wat market in Calabar was hustling and bustling, with consumers engaging in last-minute shopping. They lament the hike in the cost of consumables.
Like now, it's like I'm changing my plans. Maybe I will just cook jollof rice for my children because it's not easy. Like before, we can get this one for like 400, 500. But this time they are telling us this very one is 1,215.
Everything is very costly. So that is why you say I'm not buying anything yet. When I ask this, it's cost more than what, maybe double, twice before. So that is it. But everything is still going up and up.
Today, onions, at least what I'm seeing here is it's nice. Compared to last week or 2 weeks ago. Like a cabbage, small one of 200, that's telling me 700.
Although things are more expensive here in the market, you can see the market not really feel the way it's supposed to have been full. But at least some, hands have been able to put food on the table. So at least we are happy we've seen this year.
The consumers believe that despite the harsh economy, celebration will be a joyous moment. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Clearing has started at the 204 kilometers project of the Kano-Kaduna standard gauge rail line. But so far, only 59 kilometers have been cleared. During his visit to the project site, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, expressed displeasure at the slow pace of work. Nta Calabar reports.
This is the first visit of the Minister of Transportation, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, to the construction site of the Kano-Kaduna standard gauge line at Dawakin Kudu in Kano State. Clearing has started at the 204-kilometer project, but so far only 59 kilometers has been cleared. The minister was not impressed with the level of work. He directed the contractors to comply with the suggestion of the Federal Executive Council by converting the single track to double tracks in conformity with the original plan of the Lagos-Kano rail line project.
We say double track. Yeah, for double formation. Yeah, the formation is for double. No, no longer doing formation. We are going to carry on to the end. We are going to carry the double track. No longer formation.
At the University of Transportation in Daura, Katsina State, work is slow, with only few buildings completed. The idea of breaking the project into phases did not sit well with the minister.
We agreed, you've already designed, I approved. Then you came to site, because we're not coming to site, you now break it into what you call phase one. So 2 hostels as part of phase one, 1 faculty office as part of phase one, then 3 two classrooms and 1 lab. In your country, will you do that? Is that how they build university in your country? What kind of stinginess? And of all people, you, CCCC, you have the most contract in Nigeria. And you're doing like person who is going to market. My 3 market in Port Harcourt to buy Gucci, Chingom. For this?
That's why we need to finalize about the
management. Finalizing. We had a meeting last year and we said that this building should be completed.
Let's go. You see me in the office on Tuesday.
The minister directed that both projects must be completed and inaugurated in 2022. The minister was at the palaces of the emirs of Kano and Daura and was commended for his efforts in transforming the transportation sector. This is the last assignment of the minister in 2021. Nta Calabar, NTA News.
For the Governing All Progressives Congress, APC, the year 2021 under review was politically engaging, filled with efforts to recalibrate the party for more electoral successes. Political correspondent Salihu Guanara reports that there were some confrontations which also needed sensitive reconciliation efforts.
The All Progressives Congress entered the year 2021 under the leadership of the Governor Malabuni-led caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee by undertaking some strategic activities to reposition the party. Membership revalidation and registration exercise held between 28 January to 31st March 2021 topped the agenda of the party. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello's National Committee for Membership Revalidation and Registration Exercise, as well as that of Governor Yahaya Bello's Women and Youth Mobilization Committee played an important role in harvesting the more than 40 million members the party says it can now boast of. A Constitution Review Committee chaired by Professor Tahir Mamman also came to life, while interface between the leadership of the party and states with issues as a result of the world, local government and state congresses within the year under review was equally strengthened. The APC also actively participated in the Anambra State governorship election and by-elections conducted in Jigawa and Kaduna State, amongst others. As a fast-developing brand, the APC received more defectors into the progressive family. Prominent amongst them are Governor Dave Umai of Ebonyi State, Professor Ben Ayade of Cross River, and Mohammed Motawali of Zamfara State. Other new entrants into the party are Senator Joy Emodi, Senator Stella Odua, some former and serving members of the House of Representatives and the State House of Assembly members from Anambra State. Activities ahead of the 2022 Osun and Ekiti governorship elections and preparation ahead of the party's national convention scheduled for February 2022 were also set in motion. Deliberations at the 18th regular meeting of the Caretaker Committee held in December, which was the last for the year 2021 under review, shows that the February 2022 National Convention of the APC remains sacrosanct. The party moves into the 2022 knowing it is a crucial year on all fronts, with different pressure groups within the party eager to bring their influence to bear on the direction to go moving forward. Salio Guanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, to ensure that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accurate and comprehensive register, the party has commenced electronic registration of her members in Ebonyi State. Kingsley Okoro reports that defectors from other political parties were received during the flag-off ceremony.
Some of the stakeholders, while enunciating the advantages of electronic registration, otherwise known as e-registration, encourage both old members and new entrants to take advantage of the exercise.
I want people to come out in mass to come and register this e-registration. We'd love to a party that can help them tomorrow, a party that can bring dividends of democracy tomorrow to them.
Register, electronic register, PDP. The exercise will end by February 2022.
We are the first person that flag up the party and make the party to become vibrant from the very first time. So I am using this opportunity to promise each and everyone that PDP is the only place. I've joined the party with everything about me.
The state chairman of the party, Mr. Tochukwu Okori, said the State Executive Committee of PDP and other stakeholders are working hard to ensure that the party returns to power in 2023.
As your state chairman, it is my promise here and now that we will do everything that we have to do to ensure that the streak of victory for which PDP in Ebonyi is known is sustained beyond 2023 in Jesus' name.
Defectors from other parties were later received by the state executives. In Abakaliki, Kana Yokoro, NTA News.
And finally, a recap of the top stories. Governor Ben Ayade has assented to the 2022 appropriation law of 354.5 billion naira, as President Buhari also signed into law 17.127 trillion naira budget for Nigeria. Nigerians in Calabar have expressed optimism that the year 2022 will be a better one. It was also in the news that Nigerians in Cross River State have commented on the impact of COVID-19 on the economy. That's all on the news. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful time.